Hello, everybody, and welcome. Just making sure everyone's up and live. We're just bringing LinkedIn into the equation now. Great, there we are. Welcome. Oh my goodness, snowy day, at least where it is at my office. Hope you're having a fantastic day. You've got to work already. And these weather patterns that we experience in the northern 48, United States of America, and in Canada, especially when the snow hits, is fantastic. And this is because, and if you're a customer that you happen to stumble into this and see and watch and hear what we talk about with you on the inside circle of automobile sales, it's because we're not good drivers in North America. And when the snow hits as it is right now and it's falling like crazy, we have a tendency to get careless, drive too quickly, and crash. And in the automotive retail business, this is fantastic for us because this is going to bring lots of traffic into you. My name is Bill Harvey. Welcome, everybody. So what I wanted to talk to you about today is a myth. I want to dispel the myth that so many average, ordinary automobile trainers, and for that matter, sales trainers in general, with the plethora of courses that I have attended over the years as my career, because this is my interest, this is my hobby. If you had an opportunity to meet my children and my family, and they would tell you the very same thing, like, oh my gosh, now that YouTube has made it so easy to access on our smart TVs, which has been around for, gosh, a decade now. That's what dad wants to watch. That's his hobby. That's his leisure time. This is after dinner hour, the unwind time in the evening. I really do like to watch those other teachers, trainers, authors, speakers, and especially the really greats of the world, the Anthony Robbins, the Dean Graziosis, the Russell Brunsons of the world that really have pioneered seven-figure income businesses for themselves and for some of the people that are working for them. And I really love knowing what it is that will help people make the decision that they wake up every single morning. I'm talking about people as in customers, shoppers, make the decision that they want to make when they have risen out of bed, broke fast, and decided at some point today to come in and see you. And that could be a contact via an email, that could be a telephone call, or it could be walking right in the showroom. I want to know, and I hope you feel exactly the same way as well. What is it that we can do to make their life so much easier? And when you think about it, in order for us to really understand how people buy and why they want to buy, yes, it's important, as I've shared with you last week, the goal setting and the objectives that we would like to accomplish, making sure that our goals are stated in the present, making sure that our goals are specific, that they are measurable, that we know what we're doing is getting us towards achieving our goals, that they are achievable, that we're going to be able to do so. Remember, if you wanted to sell double digits every single month throughout this whole entire year, and now in the first week of December, we are not at 100 units, and you're hoping that whatever the shortfall is, you're going to make it all up in this month. That's a bad plan at any one of the months of the year, but certainly in Q4, that's not a good plan by any stretch of the imagination, unless, of course, you're in that part of the world where it is summertime or springtime, and of course, this is when customers are coming in. That traditionally is when all customers like to come in and buy and feel confident that they're making the right decision, and that could be because of any plans that they have for the summer. But here's the thing. In order for us to really understand how they buy, how they've transcended that process, no two customers are the same. They need the activities that lead to the sale. You probably have done it unconsciously. And depending on how often you do this, and I meet a lot of you in live session formats that sell your own personal things yourself. So if you have sold something on Facebook Marketplace, if you have sold something on Kijiji, just predominantly in Canada, if you sold something on Craigslist, which is predominantly the United States, and if you've sold an automobile, boat, RV, they used to have the truck trader, that sort of thing, then you've probably sold something yourself on Auto Trader. You did the activities that lead to a sale, funneling these people to drip out the bottom as a sold item, cash in your pocket, walk away. You did the necessary activities, and there's one activity, a second activity, a third activity, a fourth activity, a fifth, a sixth, a seventh, and really the seventh, pardon me, I should erase the seventh. That is incorrect. There are 6 activities that lead to the sale, the seventh being down here. And regardless of what happens, if you really want to sell your product, and depending on how costly it is, the 8th activity is to give them a call and just find out, hey, did you buy anything else? You know, when Facebook Marketplace came along with the automated suggestions, and I don't know if you're anything like me, but I love the ads that read, will not respond to, is this still available? Will not respond to AI automated generated response. Will not respond to ridiculous offers. Why not? Why not? That tells you, that should tell you, anybody that clicks on the auto-generated response, is this still available, way up here at Facebook Marketplace, is kind of interested, right? They're right here at the top of the funnel. For everybody else that doesn't even click on your ad, that doesn't even inquire how much does it cost, which is a fantastic telltale that they are ready to buy, transitioning into the funnel. How many times have we read, seen, or heard someone say in their advertisement, will not respond to lowball offers, will not respond to, is this still available, will not respond to AI generated terms. In fact, Facebook knows that if you don't enjoy the experience on their particular platform, that you will not stay there. Therefore, they came up with an auto-generated response for, is this still available? And that is for you to just click on it, even if you hate the fact that some people do that to you when you're advertising something on that particular application, medium, whatever you want to call it, that advertising platform. You can click on, yes, it is. Are you still interested? I think this is a magnificent way for us to get people interested in what we have. Now, as this relates to the automobile business, because that's what you came here to find out all about today, how do we parlay this information that we currently have that we're familiar with, because you all have probably sold something in the past on one of these classified platforms. That's probably why you came to the conclusion that selling automobiles is an easy thing for you to be able to do, and you would like to do it. Therefore, we're familiar with some of the activities that lead to the funnel. But when you really organize it and you put everyone through it perfectly well, then you're going to have more traction with it. So getting back to how we talk to customers. So let's assume, I don't think that this is a gross assumption on my end, most of our customers are going to initiate contact with us via email or over the phone, correct? This is the 2 ways the most pre-qualified, determined buyer is most interested in finding out what we have. They're going to email or they're going to phone in. Now, what are they looking for? Well, it's really quite simple. They've already made the buying decision. They're looking for more information. That information could be availability before they decide to come in and see it, drive it, experience it, negotiate with you, and purchase it. They could be calling about the offer. What is the fine print details? I can't believe that automobile can sell for bi-weekly at that rate. They could be asking about newer, right? If they're looking at a 2024 or past model, in other words, could be even a 23, and they're wondering, should I wait and go with the 25? What is the price difference between the 25? Is there a way for me to be able to purchase a 25 at a 23 selling rate bi-weekly? Maybe a lease would be an option. Maybe they are asking, what is the best way to buy? When is a good time to buy? Maybe they're just looking for the automotive authority that either the brand or the dealership or your social media content has generated in the marketplace. And this is what average, ordinary automobile salespeople fail at. When they do get that lead, they don't respond quickly enough. Or when they do, they just puke information. We have it. Is it available? It's available in this color. We have several other models that are available as well. It sells for, we're advertising it at, the monthly payment is, the interest rate is. And what's the purpose of the customer what reason, pardon me, does the customer have? What purpose does the customer have anymore to ask for any more information, or more importantly, get into the dealership, right? All these two activities right here are your pipeline funneling system. Okay, so here's the misconception that so many average ordinary automobile salespeople or automobile sales trainers, pardon me, average ordinary automobile sales trainers have made. The gross assumption that we all have this amazing pipeline of shoppers flowing into the dealership all the time, right? This is the pipeline. And the reason why there is a squeeze just before it gets to the point where now they drip out. And when they drip out, they drip down into our sales funnel where we facilitate activities that lead to the sale. All of these leads come out here and become your shoppers. Here's what average ordinary automobile sales trainers do. They blur the lines, and the reason why I picked the two colors is to really dramatize and emphasize the fact that the pipeline, the advertising machine, the brand awareness, where your dealership is located, the social media that you do, if you do any at all, your own personal prospecting. That's why we call it prospect harvesting in the manifesto. You want to know more about getting leads that are predetermined, qualified, and ready to buy so that you don't have to go through this much of a process and you're way down deep in the funnel where you just simply close them. If you want to know more about that, reach out to me. I'll put a link below in the comments to book a call. I'll tell you what prospect harvesting is all about. Going after shoppers that are buyers. I would never lead you down the garden path of cold calling out of the telephone book. I would never suggest for any stretch of the imagination that you do any kind of spam emailing. You will get shut down. Your email account will get banned. It'll get paused, and it'll be very difficult in order for you to get it back. And that includes the dealership as well. And the reason for this is that people are just getting too much spam material in their inbox, even today with all the spam legislation and laws that we have in both Canada and the US. The bottom line is, who cares about any of that gobbledygook? What we want is a pipeline of shoppers that are ready to buy. It's the common comment that I get from anybody who is in the six-figure income manifesto saying, Bill, all I need right now this time of the year in terms of training is more leads. How do I get more leads? That's been the common comment all the way along throughout the entire year of 2024, 2023, 2022, not so much, 2021, not at all. In fact, there were too many leads, right? There was too much demand for the supply that we currently had. But as we go forward, that is not going to be the case, not by any stretch of the imagination. As all manufacturers start to completely rectify and correct their supply chain issues, and supply starts to exceed, as we've seen with many manufacturers, domestic, import, as well as luxury, start to exceed supply versus demand on the lots, then it's going to be more obvious that we need to find buyers. But we just don't want to find any. And this is where advertising and marketing agencies get scolded and disciplined and criticized, for just sending us leads. Well, any lead is in the market. Now, I believe that leads happen in three capacities. Again, coming back to the sales funnel, there are 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. And then the 8th is over here on the outside based on follow-up, right? And I'll get to that very shortly, and I'll define each one of those levels for you. But notice how the pipeline squeezes down to such a point that when people actually drip out the pipe, they are a qualified, serious, determined, ready to buy shopper. Ready to buy shopper. And this is where average ordinary automobile salespeople, and this is you that I'm speaking to, then book a call with me and I'll share some tactics with you immediately within 15 minutes. 15 minutes could change your life on this particular thing that you can change today and start selling 2 vehicles a day. Now, I know that's a stretch. That's unbelievable for you, especially with this particular month being a short month with the holidays and the interruption of whatever celebrations are going to be going on before and afterwards throughout the Boxing Week. At the end of the day, yes, you can sell 20 vehicles this month with these tactics that I'm going to share with you. And I can give you a list the length of my arm of testimonials of people that are actually doing it right now. Chandler being one of them, Dominic being another, Rebecca, Jen. These are some of the people that you'll see on the podcast. And please be sure to join me. For those of you on YouTube, check out the podcast and in the podcast tab of those. I'm uploading a new podcast every single week. And it's not for the purpose of proving to you that my system works. It's an opportunity for you to see people just like yourself where they were. And when you apply this information, it will deliver for you. So what happens in the pipeline, I believe that we have three kinds of buyers. We've got a buyer up here, pardon me, three kinds of shoppers. We've got a shopper up here at the top of the pipeline that catches the eye. That's all it simply does. We just catch their eye as they're passing by. You can think of this a lot like anybody driving by your dealership and they see the hoods open and maybe you're spelling the word sale in individual letters on coroplast signs that are just stuck up under the hood, or maybe you don't have the hoods open at all. Maybe somebody's driving along the roadway and they see the vehicles have all been cleared of snow and they think to themselves, that's a really great looking car, truck, van, or SUV. That's a lead. It caught their eye. Now, we never worried about that lead before because we can't actually capture them. However, with digital media, we can certainly capture that lead with a magnificent offer where we get an email and maybe the vehicle of choice that they are interested in, and we make the gross assumption that they are a legitimate shopper ready to buy. I don't believe that that is actually the case. They could have accidentally clicked on I'm interested. They could have in the moment thought, I'd like to get a little bit more of information. And they could still be in their transition of going from shopper to buyer, taking those 5 steps. They're right here at the research phase. They may not even be at that particular phase. They could be right here at the bottom thinking about the purchase that they want to go to, and they're ready to talk to someone, an automotive authority, about it. And you could be that very person. If it doesn't cost them anything, and you do what you say, saying what you do, you're not going to try to sell them on the first visit. That would be commission breath. That's and the mark of an average, ordinary, floundering, struggling, miserable salesperson that is always saying, do you want to buy it? Do you want to buy it? Do you want to buy it? That is not asking for the sale. Make no mistake. Asking for the sale is knowing you have commitment through the activities that lead to the sale. So it only makes sense that you ask that individual, would you like to go with it? I mean, the very same thing happens when people come into your yard to purchase something from you, be it a lawnmower, a motorcycle, a snowmobile, a boat, a car, an ATV. I mean, even furnishings from within the house, stereos, computers. The first thing that we do is we post the ad to attract the eyeballs. And then if your offer is so fantastic and you've really created terrific copy, they will drip out in terms of salesperson. When they finally do arrive at your front doorstep, that's the funnel. You greet them with a smile, right? As opposed to, the COVID process was front door pickup. I really wonder, text me in the comments if you know of anybody, or if you did this, or this ever happened to you. Somebody came over, had a look at what they thought they wanted to buy. You did not greet them at the door. You did not want to bring them into your house, and understandably so. That was the protocol. But they did not purchase the product that said front doorstep pickup. I did. I purchased 2 fishing rods and reels. And I'll be candid, it felt awkward. There was no one there to greet me. There was no one there to ask me if that's what I was looking for. There was no one there to present some of the features or demonstrate how the fishing reel works. There was no one there to share with me how old the fishing line was. There was no one there to ask me, is this one you would like to go with? You know this stuff. You do this stuff on a regular basis. And yet, what do we complain about? Leads. I need more leads. I need qualified leads. I need determined leads. I need filtered leads. So what happens is we've got this one type of buyer. Then we have another type of buyer. This one is more interested. Let's say that this one is transitioning to the third step of this buyer transition, the research phase. And this is the one that is clicking on your ad. So now we technically think, especially from an advertising and marketing agency perspective, we've got an impression. We've got someone who has clicked on our offer. Maybe they haven't filled in their name and phone number, but they are genuinely interested in it. And I don't believe that they are genuinely interested in it. They have not gone down through the squeeze in order to be able to get to, and just a turn in a pipe, interestingly enough. Gale Banks speaks eloquently of this on his Gale Banks Engineering YouTube channel of Banks high performance engines, specifically talking about diesel performance, but more specifically talking about supercharging and turbocharging engines. You could take all of Gale's information and expertise and transfer it right over to gasoline. That's where he started with, but he's become renowned for diesel performance. He'll share with you that as air flows into the engine, any kind of restriction or turn like this, air doesn't just go along like we would walk. Air flows in here and kind of bounces off. So there is more of a restriction. And the exact same thing happens to customers when they're coming into our showroom. We think of the barriers and the brick walls and the barriers as a gate to entry that we are creating unconsciously, which prevent people from dripping down into our funnel. What are those things? And digital advertising and marketing can be one of the barriers to entry. Anyhow, the third step may simply be somebody looking at your current offer and thinking to themselves, well, I'm going to buy in the spring. Right now, I better get up to speed on what the product is all about, what the offers are, how much they cost. If there was such an offer that was irresistible and I could not turn down, then maybe we are more in the process and along the way. But for now, I really believe that there are 3 levels of prospect funneling into this pipeline to drop into your funnel, or squeezing in. Let me call it that. I don't want to confuse the sales funnel with the pipeline, because that's what average ordinary automobile sales trainers have done for years, blur the lines because they don't know what they're talking about whatsoever. They assume you've got this magnificent pipeline of shoppers. And a magnificent pipeline of shoppers is only getting the shoppers who are ready to buy so that they wind up in our sales funnel and we're going to put them together. So really the best kind of shopper that we have is the one that winds up right here. Notice the squeeze. Now they're being pushed further in. This is where your hook right here, your hook has to be fantastic. Captivates their attention, stops the scroll, brings them in. The vehicle's out on the front line when you've got an enormous amount of traffic driving down the roadway, especially if there isn't a stoplight somewhere to slow traffic down. If you're on the outskirts or the edge of town where most town bylaws and planning departments like to put automobile dealers, because we transact with a lot of cars driving by. There may not be a stop sign. There may not be a crosswalk. There may not be a stoplight to slow traffic down. So people are zooming by at 80 kilometers per hour, 80 miles an hour, whatever the case is. We need to hook them with something to capture the attention. That's the reason why we put the hoods up. That may be the reason why you leave the 4-way flashers on, especially if it's dark or rainy or snowing. That'll draw someone's their attention to you. Then you want to tell the story. Now, this is more applicable with respect to digital advertising and marketing, any kind of advertising and marketing for that matter. You can do this with traditional mail pieces. You can do this with an email. You can create a newsletter for yourself. We talk about that in our social media, and I will bring that up and share those details with you. But got to make sure that your story, that how easy it is for you to purchase the automobile, what is the thing that makes it great. So you could have a sign at the entrance, you could have frillies up, you could make sure that there's nothing blocking the driveway, so the driveway is very obvious. In years gone by, manufacturers used to have illuminated signs that said enter and exit, so that we as consumers didn't feel like we didn't know what we were doing and driving in the out door as opposed to driving in the entrance. And then you want to have an irresistible offer. And this is the reason why the sandwich boards appear on the light standards. This is the reason why the sandwich boards and tall banners drape the showroom windows and doors, to captivate these individuals that are just driving by and squeeze them in and make them remember you. This is where the irresistible offer comes in. Of course, digital marketing and advertising, that's the click, that's the impression, that's the thing that now starts to qualify your shopper. And so, assuming that you have this pipeline, and I'll talk about that in prospect harvesting more elaborately in subsequent sessions to come. So be sure to pay attention to these and join me every single Wednesday to get this information. In order to get them into our offer, in order to get them into our funnel, our irresistible offer presents itself so perfectly well that it only makes sense for a shopper to want to come in. Here's the really fascinating thing that I discovered speaking to a couple of friends, that your activities that lead to the sale, and I'm going to draw these out cellular, and then I'll land the airplane by showing you what the funnel actually looks like. Customers want this. The most common thing that I get, especially this time of the year, attending so many social events and Christmas parties and after 5 meetups and networking events, and it seems to be this time of the year everybody wants to do it under the guise and the auspice of it's holiday season, so let's all get together, talk about how the year was, but it's really a networking event. They all tell me the same thing. Our salespeople, automobile salespeople, doing so well that they don't actually need to take me through the process. And so I asked them, what do you think the process is? Explain to me what the process is all about. You know, I really should do like a comparison video where someone else is talking about how to sell something and see if they're actually following what a consumer would assume is the process in order for them to become a buyer. In order for them, it's all about them. It always has been. It's exactly like the applications that we want to learn more about and do better on, so the algorithm recognizes and pushes up through the feed. Understand, the algorithm doesn't care about us. The platform does not care about us. What they care about is the user's experience, and that's how they determine whether you rise up through the feed. We'll talk about that in leveraging apps and technology, so stay tuned for that one as well. So when it comes to the activities that lead to the sale, customers actually tell us what they think, or at least they do with me. I hope this is the same for you. They say, you know, the welcome alone is really bad. Like, don't ever say something along the lines of, what can I help you with? What can I help you find? What can I help you do? What were you looking for today? Don't ever say, how are you? Because you really don't care. If they tell you that they've just had a family member pass away and their vehicle died in the funeral as well, and they need to purchase an automobile and they have no money and they don't know where they're going to live and they don't know what the probate of the estate is going to do and they don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, but they need an automobile right now. Not exactly an uplifting, motivating situation where you could get really excited about taking them out and showing them all your wonderful, shiny, new, latest and greatest technology with phenomenal infotainment systems, self-driving, self-parking features, of wonderful fuel economy, all protected by a full factory warranty at an extremely low bi-weekly payment. Doesn't really fire you up for that. So instead, have a welcome and a greeting, and we share these talk tracks in the manifesto. So book a 15-minute call with me. I'll tell you exactly what they are. That really wants the client to do business with you. That really brings them into the role of buying an automobile. The next thing that you want to do is, now as they start to go deeper in your funnel, so that welcome is one level. Let's say it goes side to side as such. This next level, as we funnel in, is going to be your, I call it interview, but this is essentially your product selection. And what average ordinary automobile salespeople, sales trainers, pardon me, do wrong, and therefore average ordinary automobile sales trainer do wrong out on the showroom floor, is that as opposed to finding out what the client is looking for, what particular feature captivated their attention, finding out whether they have a trade-in and what the monthly payment is on that trade-in so that they can tailor new bi-weekly payments to what their trade-in is going to be. And that as a professional sales consultant, you want to know that you're actually dealing with a buyer, sharing with them what we are currently advertising the vehicle for, or finding out by finding out what their current monthly payment, bi-weekly payment is. And if it is exceptionally lower than the vehicle that they're about to go to, make sure that we share with them that will not be the case going forward on this one, or how to get that payment at that particular number, which could have been trading something in that didn't have a lien on it, or putting a lot of money down. The point of the interview is not to close the customer. It's to find the right product so that we can close the customer later on. If the customer's coming in on a $680, $723 bi-weekly monthly payment because the vehicle is gorgeous in the showroom and it's luxurious and it does everything you can think of, but their budget is really $180, $213, $300 bi-weekly, then are we doing ourselves any justice by showing them that new vehicle? Are we doing ourselves any justice by taking them out and driving it in it? In my opinion, all you're simply doing is being an adult entertainer. So this is the purpose of the sales funnel. These are the activities that lead to the sale. And then we have another layer. Once we've created the proper product selection, now we can do a presentation. And again, this is what customers say to me. They say, Bill, are salespeople that inept? They go right to criticism and challenging you instantly, or are they just selling that well that they don't need to show me what the vehicle is like? And included with showing you how the vehicle operates is the demonstration. And then once we facilitate a demonstration, proving the claims that we made during the presentation, and they've come back to the dealership and we have confirmation that they really do like it through our OBP process of commitment. And again, give me a call, book a 15-minute call, share with you what OBP acronym stands for, because it'll make an enormous amount of sense then. We don't have time to do that right now. I actually covered it in the last session. Now we move forward, and you'll see it in the product presentation that we do next week, that at the demonstration, once we have commitment, we can go to the trade appraisal. And this is where average ordinary automobile sales trainers have failed you. That they think, and they win you over with, let's just get to the meat and potatoes of what sells automobiles. You know, the most important thing that everybody is looking for is price, and that is basically the trade-in and the new vehicle product. So let's determine what they can afford in terms of a monthly payment or a bi-weekly, and let's evaluate that trade, work in the lien, make sure everything is legal and correct, and they only have one payment when they leave, and that'll be it. And we skip so many of the steps, because only until you have accomplished the trade appraisal can you then ask for the sale, which is, in my opinion, the purchase consultation, which is where you explain everything to them. The difference between lease and finance, and the reason why you may do a chart of how they can purchase the vehicle. And this is the down payment. And this is the term. And these are the numbers. And this is how you arrive at the customer-focused approach to closing, where you just don't give them one choice. When they have choices to make, they feel like they're in control. When they feel like they're in control, they will purchase from you. These are the activities that lead to the sale. Notice how this is your sales funnel. And this is how customers drip out the bottom. My name is Bill Harvey with the Auto Dealership Academy on YouTube and on LinkedIn, and the Auto Sales Academy here on Facebook. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you have a fantastic day, super week. Be sure to join me again for the product presentations, the secrets that you can do right here in order for them to say, yeah, let's have a look at what my trade would be worth, getting to the point where it could be affordable, and then they just pick the payment that they want, and that's how easy it is to close. This is how you sell 10, 20, and 30 vehicles per month with predictable consistency, loving what you do, doing what you love. Have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you again real soon. Bye-bye for now.